Why?
Wow, really?
Is that a... Well, everybody, good morning. First, I want to say I miss living in Brooklyn. We hit a lot of traffic coming over here from Manhattan. I'm looking forward to returning to my beautiful borough. But this is a great way to conclude what's been a great week in Brooklyn. And I just want to say at the outset, the reason we do City Hall in your borough is it brings the government closer to the people and allows the voices of people to come forward. And that's what I found throughout this week. We had a great town hall meeting last night in Canarsie. We've had all sorts of wonderful gatherings all over the borough and hearing from people about what they need, what they think, their ideas of how to solve problems. And the borough president, I want to thank you. You've been a wonderful host. And, you know, what we find in each one of these weeks in each borough is we get things done. And so today is another good example of getting something done that really speaks to the whole borough, because I'm partial as a resident of this community, but I think I can say it accurately. This is the heart and soul of all of Brooklyn, Prospect Park. And I want to thank everyone here who loves this park and takes care of this park and supports this park. Let's give a round of applause to all these good people for the great work they do. Because this park, if you want to know everything good about Brooklyn, just walk around Prospect Park and see the whole world, every kind of people together, making it work together in such a wonderful way. And for us, for my family, this park, I think we have, it's fair to say, a particularly deep experience with this park. It's not just that our kids used to play on the playgrounds at 3rd Street or 9th Street. It's not just that they used to play Little League in the park. It is that Shirlane and I got married under a tree here in this park. So we love this place. But I'll tell you, what we're announcing today is great for the park. It's great for everyone who comes through this place, the gateway to so much of Brooklyn. And I want to thank everyone who's been a part of this. Special thank you, because we're going to be talking about the arch here and everything around it. Special thank you to our Transportation Commissioner, Polly Trottenberg, for the great work she's been doing. And I just want to also remind everyone, the park, some people think of the park as just a nice backdrop, but in fact, for so many Brooklynites, this park is absolutely central to their lives. And I remind people, there are a lot of folks who work really hard and don't have a lot of money, and this park is the closest thing to getting away for a summer vacation that they have. And that we have to really respect that, and that's another reason why we have to always be there for Prospect Park, because a lot of people, it's the only break they get, and that's pretty sacred. But, the fact is, this park, even though it's gotten, a lot of attention and it's gotten a lot of support, there are still things that need to be done in this park, and there are still inequities that have to be addressed. And we've talked about this over the last 4 years. We're going to talk about it throughout this term, too. Every place we find an inequality that needs to be addressed, it's our job to do something about it. And we know that there have been parts of the park that did not get as much investment as they needed. And that's part of what we're trying to solve here today, to make sure that some areas that were overlooked get the support they need for new pathways, new benches, new lights. This whole park needs to be great for the whole community. And then I mentioned the arch and the plaza behind us. This is iconic. It's one of the great symbols of Brooklyn, but even iconic symbols need help. And this arch, for a long time, everyone looked at it, but we didn't actually think about what it took to keep it going, something that's been such an important part of our community. So we are going to make a major, major investment to make sure this arch is strong and restored, to make sure the plaza around it is beautiful and something that everyone can use. And I'm happy to announce today a $9 million investment in Grand Army Plaza. And like every good thing, this came from so many community members who raised their voices and pushed hard and fought hard to make sure this got done. So I find this, and this is another point I found in City Hall in your borough and in town hall meetings and everything else, so much of what we do because people raise their voices and focus us on something. So again, to everyone who's been working for a long time to get this investment, this is your victory. And we've got to make sure that this arch is here for a long time and is something that people can enjoy and celebrate, and the park around it. But we also have to remember the meaning of it. This is the last thing I want to say. You know, most of us, and I've lived here since 1992, walking distance from where we are right now, but I have to tell you, most of us don't really stop to reflect on what the meaning of that arch is. And it's pretty powerful at this point in history. The arch is dedicated to Union soldiers who fought and died in the Civil War. They were fighting to end slavery. They were fighting for an idea of universal freedom, and they gave their lives for it. The pertinence to our time in particular is that in that moment in history, things felt so horribly divided. You can imagine if you were living there in the 1860s, you would think, how is this ever going to come back together? How are we ever going to overcome this division? How are we ever going to overcome this hatred? How are we ever going to be one country? You would have been right to have those worries. Well, in our time, we have a lot of those same fears. And we see division, and we see hatred, and we see racism, and we wonder, how are we going to overcome it? One of the things we should feel when we look at that arch is that our forebears took on a much greater challenge and managed to forge something from it. They managed to create a country that's slowly but surely unified and move forward in common purpose. So as we restore this arch and the park around it, as we make it a place that people can visit, I hope it also will inspire us. It's our turn, all of us in this generation, to travel that same path, to create healing and unity. And there is no place that represents the human possibility and the possibility of this country more than Brooklyn. We show what unity looks like, and we show what people working in harmony looks like, and that's why Brooklyn is now, I would say very, very objectively, Borough President, the center of the universe, okay? I feel that way. Just a few quick words in Spanish. Grand Army Plaza es la puerta de entrada al patio de Brooklyn Prospect Park. Es por eso que estamos preservando su arco icónico. Es un símbolo de Brooklyn, de nuestra historia, y estará aquí por muchos años. With that, the man we're going to turn to work with everyone in Prospect Park and make sure these great improvements happen, Commissioner of Parks, Mitch Silver.
Good morning, everyone, and what a beautiful day to celebrate the Grand Army Plaza and the iconic Soldiers and Sailors Arch. Please give a round of applause for this beautiful, low-humidity day in August. As many of you know, the interior of this arch had not received major restoration in almost 40 years. Now, I had an opportunity a few years ago to actually take a tour inside the arch and walk to the top, but it is no longer safe, and many of you, I'm sure, would like to take a tour inside. And now, very soon, in a few years, you'll be able to do just that. So needless to say, it is long overdue for tender love and care. I want to thank Mayor de Blasio for securing nearly $9 million to restore Grand Army Plaza to its former glory. Like the mayor, I grew up here in Brooklyn and lived here for many years, and I still do today. And I lived right down Flatbush Avenue. As my father crossed the Brooklyn Bridge, we knew we were home when we saw this iconic arch because we were just basically a 15-minute walk from here. So I'm very delighted that the mayor has committed these funds to restore this incredible, iconic landmark here in Brooklyn. I'd also like to thank, of course, the borough president, who was a key partner and was here when we announced that we'll now be introducing 2 new entrances on Flatbush Avenue as part of our Parks Without Borders initiative. So for the first time, the Flatbush Avenue side of the park will have 2 entrances, one not far from nPlaza and the other one just north of the zoo. I also want to thank the Prospect Park Alliance and our volunteers. We have James Snow here, and we also have Christian Zimmerman. We all know we have a number of volunteers and staff to make sure that we keep this incredible park beautiful because, of course, it is Brooklyn's backyard. We also want to recognize that Christian Zimmerman, the Vice President of Capital Landscape Management, is going to help us with the design of making sure nPlaza is restored to its glory. He'll be also, Christian, just raise your hand. Christian will be leading a tour around the plaza after the speaking program, so if you want to learn more about the history of this plaza and how this was added on after Umstead and Vox designed this park, Christian will give you that history. This arch is the first impression of Prospect Park for countless of visitors, so naturally, we want to make sure it always will look its best. And more importantly, we want it to stand proudly for generations to come. This funding will not only be used for improvements to the interior and exterior of the arch, but it will also replant the landscape berms, frame the east and west sides of the plaza, replace fencing and broken bluestone pavement, and add new lighting for the arch. Prospect Park and nPlaza is so special. If you did not know, I'm training for the marathon, so I'm in this park at least once, if not twice a week. And so this is the park where I grew up, and now I'm spending even more time here as well. Also want to give a shout out to the happiest commissioner in Brooklyn, Marty Marr, who literally works in Prospect Park. So I'm so thrilled to see this park flourish, to see the investment in nPlaza and the arch. And with that, I thank you, and we look forward to one day taking the tour inside the arch. Thank you all very much.
Well, Mitch Silver speaks the truth in all but one area. He claimed that I had grown up in Brooklyn, and I cannot claim that honor. In fact, my children, Kiara and Dante, both of whom were born at Methodist Hospital right here in the neighborhood, they remind me vigorously that I was not born in Brooklyn, and they are superior to me for that reason. But I got here in 1992, so I found the truth, I found the right way, and I'm honored to be a Brooklynite today. Borough President, Ken, thank you for this whole week together. You and your team have been outstanding, and we've gotten a lot done, and we have been looking at things all over the borough that we need to do together. This is going to spark a lot more action. But I want to thank you for your passion. You know, being the borough president of Brooklyn means you are the embodiment of this place, and your love of this borough, every part of this borough, couldn't be clearer. And it has been an extraordinary partnership these last 4 years, and a lot more to do. My honor to present the borough president of Brooklyn, Eric Adams.
Thank you, Mayor, and your team. This has been a great week where we had an opportunity really to crisscross the borough and show true rollouts of great projects and great initiatives. I think City Hall in your borough, as he moved throughout the entire city, really gives the mayor an opportunity to leave the sterilized environment of City Hall and get into the crevices of the community that he represents. And I watched him as we moved throughout this week as residents came up to him and communicated with him. It is so important to be an approachable leader of this city, and I thank you for doing that, and I'm sure many New Yorkers appreciate that as well. I too love this park, and I too spend many days biking through on my city bike. I see the city bike head leaders are here today. But in addition to that, we saw when I was state senator and now as borough president, we saw the lack of park equity. And it was my commitment as the borough president to make sure that both what we appreciate on Prospect Park West, that we appreciate it on the Caton Avenue and the Flatbush Avenue side. And that is why each year we allocated substantial capital dollars up to the tune of $3 million to ensure that we have bike lanes on Flatbush Avenue, that we have beautiful landscape on Caton Avenue, that we say to all New Yorkers that the park is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you are the individual who rides in the back of the limousine or in the front of the limousine. In Prospect Park, you are all part of the smooth ride of what makes Brooklyn great. It is not only where trees grow or grass grows, families grow, relationship grows. Our children break out of their comfort zone and interact with other young people. We appreciate the diversity of this borough, where 47% of the people speak a language other than English at home. You can listen to all those sounds and cultures as you walk through this park. We look at movie nights here on the great lawns. We listen to the bands that are put on by the brick shows. We walk through and have our courtships with our loved ones. We have difficult conversations with our children as they continue to evolve through life. We make important decisions as we sit here. I spent many days studying to become a sergeant, a lieutenant, and captain under the trees and talk to individuals and learn how do we become great, not only Brooklynites and New Yorkers, but human beings. This is an amazing experience that we have here, and when we invest in this park, we're investing in our families, we're investing in our future, and we're investing in each other. I'm proud to be the borough president of this borough, the third largest city in America, 2.6 million people. The way goes Brooklyn, goes New York. The way goes New York, goes America. More than a tree grows here. Family, love, friendship, and experience grow here in the great borough of Brooklyn. Let's continue to make this the place, the beacon of what the greatest race is about, and that's the human race. Love you, Brooklyn.
So, as we conclude this, again, I just want to say, I know I've watched now since 1992 the incredible work that's been done. You go back to those years, there was a lot of challenges in the park. The reason this park got stronger and stronger and a place for everyone is a lot of people here really put their heart and soul into it, directly helping the park and volunteering and being involved, people who work in the park, folks who demanded more investment in the park, people who demanded a Brooklyn that worked for everyone. I'm very, very clear about grassroots democracy. What happens that changes the world comes from the bottom up, not from the top down. And Brooklynites help bring Prospect Park to its greatness. So I want to thank everyone for that. And now I want to say some of us are about to take a little bike ride. And I want to just do a survey of everyone here. How many of you have biked the entire way around the park? Raise your hand. Okay, very good. Now I've done that many a time, although I have not done it so recently. I do want to say, this park is really interesting because if you start here especially and you're going that-a-way, south, the park lulls you with the nice, gentle, it's flat, it's even going a little bit downhill and you're feeling good. And then you get that nice, long downhill stretch and you go by the lake and everything's feeling really good, right? And then I have had that experience when you come around this way and your whole life starts passing before your eyes, and it's very hard to get the oxygen you need as you suddenly, I don't know who created that hill. Okay, I wish I could go back and meet Olmsted and all that and say, why did you need quite so much hill right there? But everyone here still survived our way through it and persevered. Isn't that a metaphor for Brooklyn? Even though the hill was steep, we persevered. So everybody, we're going to go take a gentle bike ride now just to start the day. It's too early to be strenuous. We'll take a gentle bike ride. But everybody, thank you. Again, we're celebrating more investment in the park, but it's only happening because of all of you. So thank you, everyone, and congratulations.